Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about the Unfocused raid group. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Greetings, viewers, and thanks for listening to my tale. Today's story is about a mismanaged team with all the potential, but none of the success. After our last Abyssostatic disbanded due to salt over perceived total lack of prog in P8S, my boyfriend, we'll call him Ray, and I stumbled upon an ad for a static needing 2 replacements, which conveniently matched our main jobs. We give the ad a reply, and we're put in touch with the group's de facto leader, who was handling recruitment. We'll call her Karen. I love how they gave her the name Karen. Because you know what Karens are these days. I bet you the actual name Karen has been not so popular the past few years because of the whole Karen meme. My boyfriend and I are no strangers to statics. We like to think we know our way around and more or less what to expect. I should have known something was off when only a few sentences into correspondence, Ray and I got asked to join a voice call with Karen. It seemed a little unusual to ask this during the initial interview process, but we agreed and joined the call. There, Karen proceeded to keep us in the call for 2 hours. 2 hours! What the heck were you guys talking about for 2 hours? And also, this is really interesting to me because we picked up a new member into our static, and they told us about how they got interviewed in a previous static also. And I'm like, really? Are statics just doing that these days? They're like, there's like an interview process. And she said she had to join the voice call also and get interviewed. I find that really strange because it's like the best way to interview someone for me would be actually seeing them play with the whole static. I don't really know what the whole voice one-on-one thing, talking for like an hour, what are you gonna get out of that? I don't know. I wonder. While she talked at length about every member of the group. Okay, so this is what Karen was talking about. While she talked at length about every member of the group, what kinds of things to expect, and so on. They're a really high-powered group, she said, who pick up mechanics quickly and retain things easily. She even claimed that some of them are orange and pink parsers. Ray and I are excited. I'm just reading the chat. 2 hours is insane. Religion, politics, parsing. How do you feel about thoughty glams? Those are the real serious questions. Our first trial night, we arrived early and joined the voice chat. It was extremely noisy, but Karen told us in advance that they're a group of friends who are all very chatty, so we roll with it as best as we can. Surely, I think they'll chill out and quiet down once we're in the instance, right? Wrong. As we go into P5S, there's so much chatter that I can't hear what anyone's saying when they talk about strats, so I have to wing it. All during the fight, people are talking over each other, laughing at one another's jokes. Dogs are barking as a package is delivered to someone's porch. Another member of the group is on open mic singing the song from the fight. Scream. It's absolute chaos and extremely hard to focus. There are no calls for mechanics, but we know the first 3 fights of the tier, so we're not really bothered by not having them. In the end, we tell ourselves that they're all friendly and that we cleared quickly and with excellent damage, so Ray and I say to each other that we'll manage. I mean, you can already tell, like, this is something's gonna go down. This lasted up until we reached P8S, which was fresh prog for the other 6 members of the group aside from Ray and I. We had seen Phase 1 Enrage several weeks back, but couldn't quite get the clear. We arrived for our first night of P8S Phase 1, practice with expectation that we would come prepared to make a lot of prog. But no one had studied the fight. When Ray asked Karen which strats the group wanted to use, Karen turned the question back on Ray, saying that he's the expert and they'll follow what he thinks is best. Suddenly thrust into the spotlight, Ray listed out which strats he and I knew, and the team said those will be fine. Ray posted some strats and toolboxes for everyone to review, and we started our prog journey. And again, the chat is absolute chaos. Singing, joking, talking over each other. Everything we've come to expect from the Reclear sessions. Ray was doing callouts to help others learn, but nobody could hear him. When he tried to give more information about the strats and how mechanics worked, others in chat just talked over him like he wasn't even there, let alone trying to help him. Oh, that's frustrating. You're trying to like do shot calls or explain things and people are just talking over you. This just sounds like there's no respect for the newcomers of the static, like just because they don't really know them that well. Oh, that sucks. In the end, we both muted our lines and let the rest of them continue joking and laughing about memeing on mechanics. The chaos is so bad that half the party dies to the opening "Get out of the hitbox" mechanic almost every pull. At the end of the 2-hour session, we've gotten absolutely nowhere. 2 hours of just memes and no one listening to the shot caller of that night. After 2 nights of this same cycle, the group showing up unprepared or late, talking over each other, and being so loud they can't hear mechanic calls, Ray and I have had enough. We tried going mute, deafened in Discord, just to be able to focus, but that didn't make much sense. If you're not going to listen or speak on a call, why be there? So Ray told Karen that he and I can't focus in such a chaotic raid environment and that we're going to head to another channel so that we can at least do calls for each other to keep track of mechanics amongst the two of us. It worked out well. We were able to keep our focus and come out of the sessions not feeling frazzled and burned out any longer. Once we got deeper into prog though, it became harder to work with just ourselves. We needed to communicate with the team, even if they didn't do calls, even though they likely wouldn't let us get a word edgewise over all the extra chatter and background noise. So we gave it a try. When we came back in, it was actually quiet. The dogs weren't blowing out anyone's eardrums. The chatter had died out in favor of mechanic calls. People had even figured out how to use push to talk. It was a miracle. At the end of the session, we were feeling pretty good about joining the voice chat with everyone again. It seemed like they were getting serious, so it was time for us to buckle down with them. And that's when Karen turns into a salt mine. On a rough night where the group was struggling to get to our prog point, wiping on early mechanics almost every pull, Karen refused to answer the ready check. Everyone thought she was AFK, so we were surprised when she came off mute and threw what can only be described as a temper tantrum. "What's going on?" she asked in an accusing tone. "I expected to make prog tonight, and we're not even getting to our prog point. Is there something someone doesn't understand? Is there something I need to explain again? Because this isn't a team I raided with last year, and I'm not happy. You're all better than this, so why are we not making prog?" The chat was completely silent. Eventually, she huffed and started the countdown timer. Instead of Ray, who is actually the main tank. No ready check, only countdown. This continued for most of the night. Wipe, And she, a non-tank, simply started the countdown again and pulled the boss. No ready checks, no conversation, just wipe, pull, wipe, pull, over and over again, as though the team wasn't there and she alone was trying to prog through the fight with sheer brute force. You know, like after reading that, I do realize, yeah, the tanks are always the people to do the countdown. It's just part of their job at this point. I can tell Ray was frustrated by Karen doing his job for him this way when he muted his line and stopped talking in the party chat. He told me privately that he wants to quit. I told him to write out a resignation letter to Karen before bed and sleep on it, so as not to make any rash decisions in a heated moment. And he did. The next raid day came and we both showed up on time. We did not, however, join the voice chat. We knew we were down a member that night, so we pugged a samurai. They were newer to the tier, but they had a couple of clears of each of the fights. The pug did fine in P5S, but in P6S they had a few struggles. Struggles that others in the statics saw fit to call them out for in the cruelest and most toxic of ways. Didn't see the marker? One static member asked in the party chat. Nothing tipped you off that you were doing it wrong? You didn't catch that? Another person continued in the same vein. And then Karen spoke up. She put in chat, "Going to have to ask you to leave. We want to be on our mains for the next fight." As soon as the message was posted, the samurai was booted from the party and the party finder went up again, but not with everyone on their mains. They just wanted a different pug. Ray wanted to say something and call them out for acting this way. I told him to let it go, and he did. The night ended with us clearing P7S, and we went back to revisiting the idea of leaving. Dude, this sounds so mean. Like 3 of them roasting that samurai because he was doing bad. Oh, that's an awkward situation to be in. Like, you're like, oh, you feel bad that that's happening and you want to say something, but like, they're all like a big group of friends, so I can understand like Ray and the OP being like, just like, ignore them. Otherwise, you're just, if you say something, they're gonna just like, you guys are all gonna fight, basically. Since that was our last raid day of the week, we got a couple days to think about it. We were on the last fight of the tier, and we just wanted to finish it and get our bis so we could move on to progging ultimates together. But was this group really the right group for us? We knew the answer to that question, but how were we going to break it to Karen? We've said over and over again that we'd like to remain friends after the tier, just maybe not friends who raid together, that's all. And we don't want to lose those friendships, so we had to leave the static the right way. We put our heads together and came up with a constructive way of giving our reasons for leaving in the form of a long-winded Discord message. We sent it to Karen and told her we're leaving the team, effective immediately. It did not go well. We didn't think it would, of course, but her reply had more than a few surprises in it. In her response, she told Ray that us not being on the voice chat during raid turned the others against us. That silence we heard when we came back into the voice chat during late P8S Phase 1 prog. We thought it was because everyone was finally focusing on prog, but Karen said that it was because they were all mad at us for thinking they needed to quiet down. She claimed everyone resented us for not being able to prog while they were talking over each other, over mechanic calls, dogs barking, and even singing. When we mentioned the random who was treated so badly by several members of the team and Karen taking over main tank duties as a non-tank, she said that treatment like team members is only reserved for people in the voice chat. And therefore, since we'd stopped participating in voice chats for a while, they didn't have to treat us like members of the static anymore. That is still to this day one of the wildest hot takes I've ever heard. What the heck? So it's like, since you're not on call, we don't treat you like static members. Damn. Needless to say, Ray and I left the Statics Discord after that, along with the link shell, and blocked Karen in-game and out. Despite all of this, we're not turned off from Statics. He and I agreed that most are fun and enjoyable, and that this was just a one-off. But it was one I thought you'd all enjoy hearing about. The end. Author's follow-up note. This was written in 2022. Shortly after it happened, as of March 15th, 2023, Karen pugged a clear of P8S by herself. She is the only member of that entire group to have a clear. I guess they were keeping track. They were like, let's see if they actually got the clear in the end. And it just Karen probably PF'd it by herself, and no one else in the static got it. It sounds like they're a very strong group of friends that like anyone they would have picked up had to be their way or the highway kind of thing. Basically, you had to be okay with all that chaotic noise and stuff like that. And these two people that they picked up, they were like, this is not what we're used to. We don't do memes and stuff like that. We want to focus, want to concentrate, get the prog down, see some prog, not like joke around and wipe constantly. I don't know. I'm the same way too. Like, I feel like I get easily distracted if someone is saying a bunch of other stuff on call. I only accept shot calls to be like heard. That's it. Sure. I mean, yeah, even in our, if I'm thinking about it, our top prog right now, no jokes are said. The top is ridiculously hard. It depends on the fight, I will say. Like, we can joke around if we are really, really, really good at the fight already. Like, let's say like the old Savage tier and stuff like that. That's fine. But a new fight, it's kind of like, let's buckle down and get serious. So I would also be frustrated that people are memeing in a new fight that they barely know. And I want the clear too. Exactly. OP and their boyfriend wanted the clear. And it's their time. It's people's time, right? If everyone's showing up to that time for like a couple of hours or like 3 or 4 hours, they want to make progress for that time that they're there. Otherwise, it feels like your time is being wasted. I think like it's fine if that's like what they enjoy, but they have to get people, they have to recruit people who are on the same page, who also want to meme and have fun like that. Yeah, you gotta find like-minded players always in your static. They did say, OP did say, right? Like, they said they told Karen that the call is a little chaotic, so we're just gonna go to another voice call. And Karen took that as an insult, right? Like, she got offended. She's like, you think you're better than us? Okay. And like, all of them just decided to hate them. Instead of her being like a leader and being like, you know what? Maybe we can like adjust some things up, and she could have told everyone like, let's get a little more serious, guys, you know, something like that. But it's like that already created the divide. As soon as they went into the other call to concentrate, the original peeps of that static, they were just not having it. Abyssus Mean Girls edition. You cannot voice chat with us. It was pretty good. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. And a big thank you to my kind members who support my YouTube content.